Hey guys, Sean here for another episode of the Any Given Runday, and a little bit different again this week. It's a Thursday, which means we're right back with the Lawless files, and somehow he keeps dragging mates up out of nowhere. Today he's talking to Austin Doyle, and Austin takes Eric through an absolute journey is the only way to describe it, talking about the Carrauntoohil challenge, Quest 12 challenge, going from being a rugby player to running a marathon in 3 hours and 23 minutes, and his insane plan for what he plans to do in August in the Wicklow way. He also talks about all his triathlon failures and successes as well. It's a hell of a story, so I hope you're nice and relaxed for this one, and I'm going to pretty much just lead you straight into it. This is Eric talking to his good friend Austin Doyle, his marathon partner from last year, 2019, and enjoy.
Hello all, you're very welcome to the next episode in our little Thursday spin-off that we have going. I'm Eric, as you've gotten used to over the last couple of Thursday episodes, and this week I'm joined by another friend of mine. I had one last week who I nearly called a hero and inspiration, but this one is a bit better than Tom, and Tom knows it as well, so he doesn't really mind me saying. But this week I'm joined with Austin Doyle. How are you, Aussie?
I'm surprised you're more than one friend with this stuff.
Yeah, well, look, I call you friends, but really I just stick around with you, and you don't really.
I won't accept it being better than Tom. Tom's an athlete and a half.
He's quick. He is quick. But he really doesn't like the long distance.
You know, I remember that now when I was passing out with sea to somebody. He wasn't looking happy, alright.
Yeah, he didn't like that at all. We've done a few things since we got to know each other, though.
We've been through a few ditches and over a few hills.
We've done it. We've definitely been over a few hills. But similar to me and Tom, myself and yourself met when we first started training together. We were, as you just said before we started recording, the oldest two in the section.
Yeah.
I thought your haircut was really cool, so then I started to try and match your haircut. Aerodynamics, and lo and behold, I got faster at running as well. It was really good.
About top 2 inches.
Oh, I'm gonna lead this in with though. In your room, so we used to get inspected and all that kind of stuff, and stuff would be thrown apart. But we used to have something really funny, like a distractor is what we used to call it. In your room, you had a college ID.
Yeah.
That did not look like you. Why?
It looked like the ID. What's your man? That film, Superbad. Is it Superbad?
Oh yeah. Well, not McLovin.
Yeah, not McLovin. The other lad. So yeah, I was about 1.5 times the size I was now. I was about 110 kg when I was in college. Or thereabouts, leaving school in college. Loved me food. Mother's a very good cook.
That's how they get you.
That's how they get you, yeah. Lots of butter. Apparently that's the key to all the culinary. That's what they say, lots of butter. So yeah, it would have been the NCOs or anyone who was inspector room kind of loved that. They were like, you know, the room could have been upside down, but that's all they saw. And they're like, that's not you. Yeah, no, that's me, all right, yeah. So, yeah, it was a good heat seeker. It was very distracting.
But to give a bit of background, though, it suited what you were doing at the time. You were a prop in rugby. You were a forward. You were a heavy guy and a very, very good, and from talking to your friends over the last couple of years, a very talented rugby player in that role. So you were definitely eating and training and a good old pint man that would suit the role of a prop forward.
Yeah, he used to play front row, tight head or hooker when I was a bit younger as well. So it was, I suppose I needed size for scrummaging and lifting and lineouts and stuff like that. I was alright, it wasn't great, always would have started, I suppose, on nice teams and stuff like that. By no means was I, ever going to make it playing rugby, but geez, no, I loved it, it was great. I suppose, introduction into sports and, teams and stuff like that, playing with other people, made lots of friends already. Now I loved it. Played loads of sports though. Played a bit of hurling at school. Secondary school I went to were very good at football, so I didn't really launch my football career down there now. Played a bit of football for the Paris then when I came back. That was kind of around the time when I just started running. Then I went down playing GA and just running laps. The usual GA thing.
Yeah.
Running laps and laps and laps and laps.
Until someone gets sick. Were you ever the one that got sick?
No, I probably never pushed me hard down. I pushed myself down. I remember, I was always fit enough for rugby, like, you know, moving around and just like underage rugby as well. It could have been 30 minutes a half or something like when you get to under 16. But I remember when I was 13, I don't know if I ever told you this. It only came up at dinner there recently. Came home from rugby training, and I think I went to. I didn't play when I was under 12s. Can't remember what reason there was now. Well, I went back when I was 13 to play under 14s. So it was 13 time. And I remember coming home and telling my mother that I ran a full lap of the rugby pitch without stopping. And I was delighted. A full lap of the rugby pitch. Like, what's that? 200, 300 metres?
Yeah, thereabouts, yeah.
These knees. So, you know, there was definitely times when I wasn't mobile, I would say.
Yeah, less mobile. And to give some perspective now, because I've mentioned how I was 110, lost a bit. Your weight now is roughly?
About 72.
72. So yeah. a good 40 kilo in a difference from the man who just took on the lap of the rugby pitch. Yeah. And that brings us up to now, like, last week you did a half marathon. You texted me on the Friday saying, well, would you fancy doing a half marathon or a half Ironman, sorry, this weekend, yeah. And I was like,
I suppose the advantages of being overweight, maybe the joints are well used to taking the impact, maybe. So
it was training, and you didn't know.
I knew what I was doing, you know.
Yeah.
It was actually, it's one of the lads I met him through adventure racing. The Strength Catalyst is his name on Instagram, Kieran. He's from Cork. Randomly just met him in a field in Wicklow doing an adventure race. Great lad. But he was, it was a deload weekend in running, and he just put up carb loading on the Friday, and I was like, oh, how are you up to? I said, I'm doing a half Ironman, and tomorrow are you up for it? And I was like, no, deload weekend. And then he saw a picture of me there in his turbo with the fan on, and I was like, no, go on, sure, I'll do it tomorrow, yeah. So that's how we did. That's why I did the Ironman, just because one of the lads doing it. I haven't done one. I've never done that distance. Like, obviously, I've done the ultra, and I've cycled. I did a couple of long cycles in a day and stuff, but the actual Ironman distance I haven't. I've done, I suppose, Quest 12, I had kayaking and stuff in it. But to say an Ironman, I suppose, I've never done an Ironman. So it was just a half, just to see what it was like, and it was great. It was a hard day last Saturday as well. That didn't help. I suppose all the run training I'm doing at the moment, I'm kind of used to my hydration and eating food while running is getting good. So moving for 5 hours now is grand.
Yeah, it's absolutely madness now and we say each week that you just say that you're moving for 5 hours, sure. It's grand. I'm awake. I might as well move. You know, like it's a weird mentality you have with it now. And you've mentioned other races there. So you did Quest 12.
Yeah, it's that was probably the little first. Like I did Quest Glenlock. We did that, and then
we did that. That was a good taster.
That was good. Yeah, Tom was doing that as well.
Yeah.
I got a blowout that day. I had to run half the cycle. That was good.
I was on my bike thinking I was great, and I just heard someone, "Hey, Lawless!" And I was going so fast down the hill I couldn't see who it was that was shouting at me. And for the rest of the race, I was like, "Who else knows me here?" And you had to run 10k with your bike because you had no spare tire to fix. So you carrying your bike 10 kilometers, running with some other stranger who was having the total same problem as you.
Well, I was well prepped for that, all right, yeah. You know, the usual pre-race inspection, spare tire. Oh, yeah, it's in the bag there, yeah. So, yeah, I did a few of those quests. I can't remember, the first one was with Lou in somewhere down south of the country, I can't remember. But, I signed up for Quest 12. There's a 24-hour one as well. It's literally about 100 kilometres more. Then we started Sneem in Kerry, and what I took away from it was that, like, you can never train for a cycle or a run in Kerry while you live in Kildare. It's just a hill. You start off in Sneem anyway. I can't remember, crazy o'clock in the morning, and you cycle 50k to Carrauntoohil, up and down Carrauntoohil, another 50k to Waterville. You do a kayak. I can't remember how long that is. And then another, I think it's 12k on the bike and 20k cycle, something like that. So it's 28 did it. Off the top of my head, that was the distance. So I loved it. Absolutely. It took me, it was 11 hours 20. You had a 12-hour time cap. And I think about 70% of the people that didn't get under the 12 hours. But Eric, it was unreal. So I went to do it. I was going to do this last year, but I was away overseas, so I missed it. And now it's a biannual thing now, so it's not on. It wasn't meant to be on this year, but I'll definitely do it next year. That was your run. The last run is on the Kerry Way, and if you did the 24-hour, it's 250 kilometers, something like that. So you're running along the Kerry Way with a headlamp in the middle of the night. So that kind of daunted me. But then I suppose the other race, before you mentioned later on, running across mountains in the middle of the night, and I suppose more confidence from work, running in the middle of the night with head torches on. The Quest 24, you definitely, they would, like, I think they had something before, they compared it to people who've done Ironman, which was harder, and they said that Quest 24 was harder. But I suppose people have different strengths as well, so it's hard to know. I suppose, I don't know if you're going to bring it up about my swimming abilities, but that's why I'd be picking that kind of adventure race over a proper triathlon.
Swimming ability is probably the wrong choice of word. Like, it's a fine line between floating and drowning for you, since a triathlon we did down in Westport. But have you
ever seen a brick swim?
It was touch and go. Actually, we might as well talk about it because we were there. We were standing on the side, me and Tom. We were doing the Olympic, and you were going for the sprint race. And I think Louisa, she was doing a relay. Am I right? She was doing a relay.
I think she was doing I can't remember what distance. She was doing the swim or relay, but I can't remember what distance. I think she'd done the Dublin Olympic a week or 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
I think it might be sprint, yeah. She was on a deload.
We were looking for you to get out of the water to give you a cheer. And then we were feeling bad because we were like, shit, I haven't seen Oz getting out. And Louise was like, did I miss him? And we were like, you are a terrible, terrible woman. I can't believe you missed Ozzy getting out. Now, me and Tom had not seen you either. So we equally, but we were about to start the race, so we didn't really mind that we missed you. But we were like, you're a disgrace. I can't believe you missed him. So me and Tom get in and do our 1,500 meter swim. It's about a half hour passes. We get out, we get on the bikes. We're cycling out. We see you on the corner. And I'm thinking, Ozzy is one of the best endurance athletes I know. He loves it, dog rough. He does it, he'll get it done. I cycle past you in the corner. And you were changed in your jeans and your top. And I genuinely thought, I was like, I can't believe he finished the race already. I gave you the benefit of the doubt that in the 30 minutes it took me to swim, you had finished an entire sprint triathlon, got showered, changed, and were there to cheer me and Tom on the corner. But what actually happened?
Well, I suppose my confidence is high when we arrived down on the Friday. And what's that little estuary called in Westport? Do you know?
Oh, I couldn't tell you, no.
Yeah, it's where the swimming is anyway.
Yeah.
And there was no water in the estuary, and I was like, brilliant. I texted you, I was like, there's no water here, we're laughing. Great. So whatever time the next morning it was meant to kick off, obviously the tide was coming in, and tide was getting higher, the race was getting a bit delayed, and I was like, lads, the water getting a bit high up there now. And I suppose, I'm not a great swimmer anyway, but I suppose previous to this I was in Mali for
3 and a bit, or
I was doing a bit once this stage, so the only swimming I could do was in the river Niger, with the hippos and the crocodiles. So yeah, that wasn't happening.
Some would say, but me and Tom in the water, there was hippos and crocodiles in Westport that day anyway.
So that was the swimming. The training for swimming wasn't there now. The running and so there was no cycling really over there. The running was grand, but yeah, swimming wouldn't have been a strong point anyway. So I got in anyway, and just there, I'm 5'9" on a good day, like, you know. So I'm just tethering there in the water. Like, by tethering I mean my toe is bouncing in the bottom just to get my head up over to get that air in. And started off anyway, and I suppose again I bad shoulder from playing rugby when I was younger. So I was staying well at the back, thought it was grand anyway, and whatever happened, I just got banged into on the left shoulder by someone I was reaching, and caught and just got a jolt in the shoulder. So I just got a bit of a fright. Started taking on water. I was like, I'm set to go back to Mali here in about 2 weeks. I better not be drowned, you know. So look, a lot of people can say it, but I was actually first out of the water in a triathlon.
Yeah.
The
First
life
changed.
came out the right. Everyone was clapping me out. I was like, Jesus! Like at this stage, everyone was there. All the people doing your race, all the Olympic, they were all there getting ready to go. The first person in the swim in my race probably wasn't even to the first buoy yet, and here was me coming out of the water. Everyone was applauding me. It was like, oh jeez. And a fellow who would actually give me swimming lessons, I won't mention his name because it wouldn't be good for business. He was like, Austin, I was so embarrassed by first time I hadn't finished the race, and it was actually an Ace Tri Club like weekend away, and Lou joined the Tri Club. That was our second or third year, so we were out for dinner, and Joshua Slagan was 90, like it's a bit of crack, like. But yeah, I definitely have unfinished business as well. I was going to do it this year. I was going to go back, but look, the times are in, so it'll have to be next year now. But I know I worked in the swim when I came home. I was up to a decent amount of swim in the pool, so maybe I'll give it a try as a crack next year. I think this year is kind of gone.
If there's one thing as well I can say from watching you, you are a dog with a bone. So I seen you get out of the water, you were clapped out of it, you played a good role in that, and you just kind of accepted it. But you were a complete dog with a bone, to a borderline obsessed that you were going to get that swimming down, and you were going twice a week, and all of a sudden you were swimming 1.5 kilometers. You went from swimming 2 lengths to 1.5 kilometers in the space of a couple of weeks. Like, you were absolutely motoring in the pool. And I'd say if the triathlon season was kicking off, you probably would have done a couple of them this year, because you built on the swimming. You pick something that needs to be worked on, and you're real relentless with it, aren't you?
I just it's not nice failing, I suppose. That kind of way. Like, it's just when you, especially like everyone can like everyone, but it's a skill you can learn, and you don't be gifted to swim. Like if you watch an Ironman, people are all sizes and shapes, finishing them. Like, it's something you can definitely work on. Like if it's something that it involves work, I find it very enjoyable. Like if it just takes hard work, or it's just satisfying. So look, I shouldn't have entered the triathlon in the first place. Like that. I can't believe from having no swimming, especially when swimming was my thing, or not my thing, the opposite of my thing. But yeah, no, I do enjoy just having a program and working on it. Like, I suppose just the breathing was the big thing. So once I just got the confidence of breathing off both sides, and I was breathing every 4 strokes, like take 1, 2, 3, breathe on my right, 1, 2, 3, breathe on my right, and so on. So once I was able to do 1, 2, breathe left, 1, 2, breathe right, and so on, and it probably was just me in my head for an hour and a half, and the pool going 1, 2, 3, breathe left.
But them swims like as well.
Do you hear the story of David Beckham getting a haircut and he has the headphones on? And it's like, David Beckham, he's meant to be a bit thick, like, he's not obviously, but like the barber took off the headphones, and the headphones saying breathe in, breathe out, It's
but it is like a lot of people, like, you knew you were going to be under severe pressure in the water before you did it. Like you said, you probably shouldn't have signed up for it, but you have that thing that no matter what the race, you have that good attitude that was like, sure, feck it, go on, should I give it a go? What's the worst that can happen? Me and you are very different, very, very different when it comes to this. And the example is when Christmas, see, you lead me into all these things, and I just go, yeah, all right, I'll do it. And then I always end up getting the tickets for these things because they tend to be lotteries, and you don't, and then you laugh at me because I end up having to go and do it. So the latest one we had,
life excitement.
Yeah, so we'll lead into this, but the last time we ran is the marathon. We covered 35 kilometers, 32, between 32. You didn't know I was still behind you. I was still behind you to 35, and that's when me and you separated.
It was somewhere along, what's that road, the nice gaps in Dublin, and that narrows it down,
just before the big hill.
Yes, it was somewhere there. You said you were dropping off, but yeah, you were behind me for a while after that, you said.
Yeah, I stayed behind you for another 2K, and then once we come up that hill, it was game over for my hamstrings. So I was running like Forrest Gump with his braces on just to try and stay in touch if I could. But you ended up finishing the marathon in 3 hours 23.
Yeah, 3:23. I suppose again going back to Dog with a Bone, I did the year before as well, and I think it was 3:50 or something like that. First marathon I ever did, loved it. It's like, and I know you mentioned it on the podcast before, like, for anyone who hasn't done the Dublin Marathon, and God knows when it'll be on again, probably next year, like, but it's unbelievable the support along the way. Like,
yeah,
you nearly can't stop running, just people are shouting at you. But the year before, I just remember hamstrings, and I suppose I kind of learned it in the long runs leading up to it. Hamstrings just weren't strong enough, and quads, as in near the end of runs, I just couldn't lift my knees, or like I could, but it was just I didn't have the power I had for like a 10k or 20k. So that was something like I really focused on then leading up to the next marathon. Lots of like, and I know Aaron probably won't like me talking about it, but lots of work on your glutes.
He loves the glutes.
So lots of single leg, like hamstring curls, all that kind of stuff. And then it comes into, I don't know if you've ever, now we've gone down a rabbit hole here again. So, you know UTMB, it's a race, you know it, yeah?
No, go on.
It's an endurance race, sorry. It's in, you start in, oh God, I'm going to get it wrong, Chamonix in France.
Okay.
And you run into Italy, I'm going to say, and then
it seems like a long way, yeah, all right.
I can't remember what it actually stands for, but it's something like Ultra Trail Mont Blanc. So it's 170 kilometers. So I was reading a training plan, not that I'm thinking of doing it around.
All right. I'm in.
It's so when we talk about like endurance events, it's 70% mental, 20% mechanical. No, sorry, 20%. Yeah, 7% mental, 20% mechanical, and 10% nutrition. So, because I worked on all I know what little imbalances, weaknesses in my hamstring. Also, had to stretch my hamstring because I hadn't stretched enough leading up to that. So that was something I brought in as well. Every day, just have just something to check off every day. So when it came to the last, 5, 4, 3, 2 kilometers, when you're coming to that, like, right, I need to open up here and push on. Like, I had the mentality that I knew I'd done the work.
Yeah.
The work was done. I've trained for this. I've done this before, and I've spent God knows how many hours monotonously looking at the ceiling, like pushing my hips up, or on a balance ball or whatever it is. Like, you know what I mean? So just that, I've done the work, and next thing your kilometer's gone. Kind of just
yeah.
talking. I know you mentioned before. I'm just saying, like, if you run a certain kilometer, you're so many seconds under, and we were doing that the whole way through.
Yeah.
And I totally lost track of what you were talking about. I think we were doing, was it 4:48? Was that our pace? No, because we were going for 3:30. So 4:48 got me to 3:23, I think. So was it just 4:50, was it?
We were trying for 4:50, and we were cruising at a 4:30 for a good portion of it.
Yeah, we did too many 4:30s for her. Yeah, no, sure. Yeah, like, it's just, I think it's the same with everyone that we work with as well. If you go for a run to them, it's just, and you might even notice that you're just trying to push in front of them.
Yeah.
But no, it was brilliant to have you run with me as well, because you were very good at keeping track of, right, okay, that was a 4:40, we've gained 10 seconds, so we're up 2 minutes there on the time. And I usually do lots of maths and stuff like that, and I find, like, it does pass a kilometer. Like, if you're hitting the watch set to go off every kilometer, so it can be anything from a 4:40 to a 5:30 or whatever. Like, depends what you're doing. Like, and if you're calculating in your head to get to a certain point, or how long will this take, or if I run this, and another kilometer is gone. So yeah, lots of maths in the head, and yeah, just confidence that you've done the work, and just taking your mind off, and the kilometers fly by. I find that.
And that's where me and you were different, because you've done the work and you had the confidence in yourself, but then you still asked me to go and do the likes of the Carrauntoohil, which is what we were talking about, lottery competition, ultra marathon from Dublin Castle into the Dublin Mountain that night, torch on. You threw a text into the group, anyone do it, I'm doing it. Silence, tumbleweed. Eric says, yeah. Eric goes, yeah, sure, I can't let Ozzy do these things on his own. Like, he needs the support. We both submit the email. My knee is still in the jocker from the marathon. I haven't done the training. Not confident. Ozzy texts me and says, I didn't get the old Carrauntoohil. And I was like, oh shit, neither did I. And then I refreshed my emails, and sure enough, Eric Lawless, you've been accepted to do the Carrauntoohil Ultra Marathon. So I would love it, but at the time I hadn't done the work, and I wasn't willing to do the Westport jump into the water anyway, even though I know I can't swim like you. So I didn't actually do it, but we actually managed to get you doing that, doing the Carrauntoohil. How was it?
Yeah, deadly. I was the same. Also, I entered for you and I, as you know, and I think you got pulled out and I didn't. I can't remember. We were trying to weasel me in somehow.
Yeah, we were charming.
Yeah, I can't remember what we were saying. It was like, well, my friend Eric's after getting in, and look, I know it's a lottery, but you know, I can't remember what we were actually trying to say.
Yeah.
Or they're having none of that. Fair enough, like, because it's 200 spots and couple of thousand probably entered.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got my notice. So that was, I think it was the 21st of January or 28th of January. So I'd signed up for, there's a half marathon in Dundee every year. I've done it the last 2 years. It just keeps you honest over Christmas, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
just something to be training for. And Dundee is about 20 minutes away from here as well. And Lou's done it as well, I think. So it's good. It's like, it's half marathon through the forest. It's 4 laps. Happy out of it. And then you go home and finish off more crisply. But so I think it was the 7th of January, got an email saying so people keep pulling out of this thing. I'm not too sure. I think a lot of people enter it and then just have no ambition to do it.
Yeah.
So I got 3 weeks ago. I was going from training for a half marathon to an ultra. First ultra. I'd never done an ultra. I'd never done more than a marathon before. So
and the total distance is over the 50k, isn't it?
It's 50. Yeah, over 50 is an ultra, but this is 53, I think. So yeah, 3 weeks ago, another fella, Doyle, as you know, he did it. Doyle was on a team. So there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can walk the whole thing. You can run the first half and get a guided walk for the second half, or you can run the whole thing. Now, to put it in the context, the fella who wins it, I can't remember this year now, but last year, there's a fella from Carrauntoohil, and he owns a gym, Number One Fitness. I can't think of his name now, but he is the Irish and Polish record for fastest Irish person to do a marathon. I'm not sure if Brian Chris has beaten it since now, but he came in, I'm going to say, 3 hours behind your man who won it.
My God.
Now, your man was from Poland, I think, who won it, and the story goes that he was in such a rush, like by the time most people had finished, he was actually back in the airport flying home. Like he was in
my God.
So I don't know if you booked the wrong tickets or something like that. That's the story. That's the kind of animals you're meeting this thing. So anyway, 3 weeks ago, I had no chance to do any recce's of any of the areas. Like we'd probably been in some of the areas of work, but you know, you would like to have done a bit of it.
At least mentally, so you know what you're getting into.
Yeah, kinda, yeah. So 3 weeks ago, and I had most of the year. I just got a pair of trail runners. I went up to Grey Outdoors there in Dublin. Other shops are available. I don't know if you're allowed to say that. But
we'll tag them all. Keep it going.
Your man who helped me, he was actually very good. Cameron, his name. He done it last year. He walked it last year, and he's planned to run this year. So he gave me a pair of Innovates. Loved them. Like, I think I can walk up a wall with these jokes. The grip on them is ridiculous. So, 3 weeks ago, you start off, so just try to get a few hills. And I think we went up a hill, we went up taking off, didn't we?
Yeah, I think I nearly needed a helicopter or one of the lads to come and get me off the hill. But yeah, we did, yeah. We
went up taking off. That was my hill training. Obviously, I was doing a bit for the half marathon. But like, with all these things, it's better to be undertrained than overtrained as well. So I wasn't overtrained. So you arrive to Dublin Castle on a Friday night. It's actually some setup. You have like they have a whole waiting area. There's a fellow selling coffee and hot drinks there and stuff like that. It's Dublin Mountain Rescue. It's a fundraiser for them, so they're all over as well. You see, I think registration starts probably anywhere after 7 or 8 or something like that. You get there, you hand in a bag because there's a checkpoint after 30 kilometers. So whatever you want in your bag, you put in that. So that's dropped off. Then at midnight, they start running. So you leave Dublin Castle. It's actually off the top of my head now. It's called the Carrauntoohil because Carrauntoohil and his brother, I can't remember his name, and Hugh McNeil, which were 3 prisoners in 1750, escaped. But they had to leave their coats behind. And they ran from Dublin Castle to Glenmalure. And Carrauntoohil actually died as a cross with about 7 or 10 kilometres left where he died. So it was freezing cold night. So yeah, hopefully, like, no one, I don't think anyone's died doing that short race. But,
no, I hope not. Anyway,
so you run the 30 kilometres. That's pretty much on road. You run by Kilbride Camp and a few other places. You run through Tala, kind of that direction, and then after it's cool. Run through the city midnight is cool. Then you get to about the 12 or 13 kilometre mark, and then you start hitting Wicklow Mountains.
No, not me.
Yeah, remember that hill we were cycling? At the time from Tala we cycled towards Bleston.
I know you could barely make it up the hill. Yeah. Thanks for bringing up all these stories. Yeah, you're very good at my confidence.
you run up there, and then you're off to the Wicklow Hills. And after 30 kilometres is your checkpoint, so you get your bag. And actually, I remember there's a lot of people there, like, at start, like, what are you thinking of doing it? And I had no idea. I was like, it'd be nice to get there before sunrise, which was 8 o'clock. So I was chatting to one fellow, it was the 3rd time doing it. And he was like, I'm taking the first 30 kilometres in under 3 hours. And I was like, yeah, that's the thing. You're gonna get out there, just sub 6 minute kilometres, get up to the checkpoint, another 3 hours, and then see how I get on. He's like, after that, I'd say it'll take me 10 hours. And I was like, what? Like, 10 hours, like, it's 20 kilometres. Like, what are you gonna crawl? Like, so that absolutely, I was like, and again, it probably comes down to had I got the work done. Kind of, probably not really, but
yeah.
Like, I wasn't going to give up, and like my shoulder wasn't going to fall out in the swim, so there was no swim. I was happy out. So anyway, you get to your checkpoint after 30 kilometres and put on the trail runners, then a bit warmer gear, and there's also, like, at this place, a soup, lots of food, hot drinks, all this big fire if you want to heat up and all. So I was like, the longer I stay there, it's going to cool down and lose momentum. So I ended up leaving that checkpoint on my own. And you run from this checkpoint and you get to the end of this forest track, and from that forest track, you're meant to have a map, pretty sure. Yeah, you're meant to have a map and a compass, and you have to get from this gateway to this other gateway that's 8 kilometers away over a hill. And obviously there's a hill in the middle, so you can't you can't just see this gate, like, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning, like, so it's I had a kind of a route I knew I wanted, and with the watch as well, it was handy because you kind of knew whereabouts you were. But luckily I fell in with these 3 other lads who I think it was their 3rd time doing it, and one of them was about my age, the other 2 must have been in their late 50s, and like 2 of them were very experienced runners. I was like, you've done many races like this year? And he was like, yeah, I did a half. No, he did like a 60 kilometer race the week before. He said, I had legs a bit tired, like, it's the Carrauntoohil, you have to do the Carrauntoohil. And I was like, Jesus Christ, like, I probably did a 5k last weekend, just keep it. So, like, I ran with them far faster than I probably would have ran on my own, like. But you're running across Total Mountains bog. There's a few, like, you're running through the trails the sheep will leave behind. Yeah. There's no. That's cool because there's no, like, in no quest race there might be a route, and you stick to the road, or if you're going over a hill there's like flags. This is literally whatever you think the best route is. So if you don't want to climb the hill, you can go around the hill. You go left or right, it's up to you. So you're going over this hill and you can look 100 yards to your right and you see 4 headlights, and then about 400 yards to your left you'll see another few headlights, and you're like, I am completely lost here. So eventually you get to this gateway, and there's actually, I don't know if he was meant to be there or if he had parts of the race, so he didn't have any official stuff, but he was actually at the gate waving his light. But you can only see him about a kilometre to go with the way the trees were. So you get in, so you get to him back onto the forest track, and you get to a second checkpoint. And again, same thing, warm food, all that. Stop there for about 5 minutes. There was no drop back there. That was just a bit of a suss, like, to break up the 22 kilometres from the first checkpoint. So we keep there, and the two lads that had done it before were like, yeah, so this is the hardest part now. And I was like, oh my God. The watch just clicked 43 kilometres. So I was like, right, this is the first I've ever ran. And these lads just say, this is the hardest this race gets. And I was like, yes!
See, that's the difference between me and you. You think brilliant. I'd be putting up a flare and ringing my mum.
So I was like, deadly, this is cool. So again, you're going through forest tracks, and again, you get to a gate, and you're looking at a map and a bearing, and you're just going pretty much like, this one was to the top of the hill. It was a frozen lake you were aiming for, and then from there, it's Glen Malure you're into. So from the last 3 kilometres, do you know when you go past Glen Malure and you go to that car park?
Yes.
And you go up the hill and there's the hostel.
Yeah.
You run down there, and I swear to God, it's not the feeling of, when you finish something, but like, that's the reason I do it. Like, that last 3 kilometres, you're looking at the sunrise for about 3 kilometres. You can just see the sun is starting, but it kind of came up like 5 to 8. So you run down the hill, just the euphoric feeling of like,
it nearly brings tears to you, but you won't admit that.
I'm gonna do it, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and so I think it was 7:43. So got in there. There was a fella cooking sausage and rashers, and had a lovely big sandwich with red sauce. And Lou was tracking me, and so Lou was meant to get there to see me finish anyway. So there was me anyway, and I just had a sandwich, and she just pulls up for me to see finish. But like, that feeling of finishing that was amazing. Like, it's deadly. Like,
yeah,
like,
it is,
and that's why I do it again. Like I had to untie my laces. I had to pour tea on my runners to defrost the laces. I swear to God.
Oh my God.
But like, I suppose at the time, I don't remember thinking at the time, but like, if I had stopped, like, it was just gonna freeze. Like, so I'd probably just like, if I stop, I'll just get cold. Like, so I'll just keep going.
So I'll just keep going, and no one's gonna know where I am because it's dark.
Every step is just a little bit closer to the finish line, but like that, it's the nicest finish line you could ever imagine. Like, you're running down that hill by that hostel, the sun is coming up. We were lucky enough with the weather. It was just free. Like, it was a clear night, so there was no cloud cover, so it was freezing. But like, it wasn't that windy. I don't think it was dry, and it had been like
the nicest night for it.
Pardon?
It was the nicest night you could have had for it.
Perfect, like, and like, it was just pure bog you were running through. So it was, if you fell, it was just soft anyway.
So what you've done now is, anyone who we had even trying to try a 5K with us, you've completely turned them off everything, because that sounds disgusting to absolutely most people.
Brilliant.
Like, you've convinced me. You've absolutely convinced me, and I definitely think I'm going to put in for it now next year and give it a go with you.
I'm definitely going to for it.
And safe to say, and looking at your reaction even as you're talking about it, I know that feeling. I've never done that kind of distance, but that feeling of even finishing a marathon is that kind of euphoric feeling. And even my first 10K that I did, that I never thought I would do, was that euphoric feeling. But we're going to wrap this up.
You never ran a lap in rugby pitch. You went home to my mother.
Yeah, ran a lap of rugby pitch.
Everyone finish line is different, right?
Yeah, and now you're running over mountains in the pitch black thinking you're having a great time.
Yeah.
We're going to wrap this up because this has been one of the longer ones we've done. And
to
be honest, it's probably, we won't tell Tom or Oren because, well, no, they're both from Wexford. It's probably been the best one we've done so far because we've got some true endurance stuff here.
How many strawberries did you have to buy to get them on with it?
Listen, we've got shares in Wexford strawberries now at this stage. Between that and Garmin. I just want to ask you really quickly before you go, what's next?
So that Carrauntoohil, it's like, well, it wasn't. I suppose it kind of had in the back of my mind. There's a race called the Wicklow Way. So you start in Carlow. I can't remember the place in Carlow, but you run along the Wicklow way, obviously enough, to Marley Park. So you have to have done an ultra. You have to do an ultra in the previous year, I suppose. So they have me as a qualifier for that. So it's 127 kilometers, so 3 marathons back to back, and you have 21 hours. So there's different checkpoints. There could be 6 or 7. Now it was meant to be on the 11th of July, so I was in. This would have been week 7 of 16 in my training. So with everything that's going on, they haven't rescheduled a date, but everything is going to be after. It's like Irish Mountain Running Association. If anyone wants to even look up any sort of mountain run, like they have 5Ks to these 100 and whatever kilometer races, like.
So you're going to run 127 kilometers in August over the Wicklow way.
Yeah. So
yeah, just casually, yeah, 3 marathons back to back. Yeah.
Well, it's the plan, you know.
Yeah. Well, it is always
at the checkpoints. You can people can run with you at the checkpoints. So if I hear you're free, are you?
Okay, right. Well, if you go and show up to this race, I'll show up and run with you through a couple.
Maybe somewhere near Marley Park, yeah.
I'll meet you in the last 5K.
No, I think the checkpoints are all like 15 or 20K, so that's what you're looking at.
Yeah, perfect. Well,
you start midnight the Friday, and you get to Marley Park before hopefully 9 o'clock on the Saturday night.
Well, hopefully we will have a few listeners to join you on that magical journey. I'm gonna plug you over the next couple of weeks just to see how you're getting on. We might even get you back on for a chat about your training plans in the future, if that's all right with you.
I'd say one, yeah.
Ozzy, I'm sorry I had to cut this short. Coach Sean now will be coming on to do some sort of class with some of his.
Oh, right, yeah.
I'd keep talking all night, but we are gonna have to. I'll give Sean the plug here now. We've plugged every other shop in Kildare now at this stage, so we might as well plug him there, Coach Sean. But yeah, we better draw this to a close. But thanks so much for coming on. It's been an absolute fantastic to get some insight into that brain. More I've seen it plenty of times.
I never got to mention my top 5 top secret training plans.
No. Next week. We don't need to know. Coach Sean.
I've been open up my secrets there.
Yeah, we just have to get you back. You've signed up for another episode. Good stuff. But listen, thanks a million. It's great that we can give others an insight into how you do things and what goes on in the brain. And to draw in the fact you were delighted to run a lap of a rugby pitch, and now you're going to run 3 marathons back to back in August. And it just shows how far you can come. But as always, thanks very much. We do appreciate it. It's been a lovely episode, probably a long one, but to be honest, I think it's worth having a long one when you get stories like that, because it's important to listen to, and it's very motivating for me. So I'm going to go for a run and get off before Sean kills me. Thanks very much, Oz. It's been absolutely, and I'll talk to you soon, and hopefully we'll get you on again.
Good luck.
So till next time, thanks very much for listening to our episode of Any Given Runday, and we look forward to being back on our regular Monday. Thanks very much. Until then, take care.